Y'all are really gonna make me run out of green clothes to wear because a couple of you have noticed that I've been trying to do that in every episode, but now I found out that this is 9-episode series, so because I love it, I guess I'm gonna have to buy more green clothes. It's just the way of the She-Hulk, I guess. Hey y'all, it is Thursday, which means it is She-Hulk Day, and I'm so excited to review episode 3 for you all. If you're new to the channel and you want to be caught up on MCU news or just get the weekly She-Hulk reviews, highly recommend subscribing. Now that administrative stuff is out of the way, I can get back to professing my love for Jen Walters and how much I love this character. Week after week after week, she continues to be such a great addition to the MCU, and this is something that I think we've all kind of noticed. There's been a lot of really strong character additions in phase 4 of the MCU, even if some of the movies or projects or TV shows haven't been your favorite, but gosh, do I love Jen Walters. But again, that's something I say every week. The main thing I want to focus on for this episode, which I absolutely adored, probably, I hate to keep saying this because I don't want to continue to get an expectation for this, but this show week to week continues to outdo itself. The format of this show is really working for me. Please comment down below if it's working for you too, because I feel like there are people who appreciate this formula and this self-contained episode narrative that each of these have. It's something we haven't seen in a lot of the other MCU shows. Like, they all really bleed into one another, whereas this show has kind of a unique capability to do like a 1-episode story, then maybe like a 2-episode story, then like a 1.5-episode story, and like there's enough overlap from episode to episode that it doesn't just feel like story of the week. As She-Hulk references, it doesn't feel, at least to me, speaking for myself, doesn't feel like a cameo of the week type show. But that also is the part of it that I like, is the feeling that like, oh, who are we gonna see this week? Or what is Jen gonna do this week? What case is she gonna get into? What kind of inner MCU world issue is she gonna be dealing with at the time? And I love that because it makes it exciting, and it also doesn't feel like the weight of the world is crushing down on whether or not Jen makes a case or not. Like, obviously her world would have mattered had she not gotten Blonsky on parole this week's episode, but I like that. I like the lightness of this series. I like the comedy of it. It's really, really working for me. So even though I feel like there's a lightness to this series and a comedic tone that has yet to be explored in the MCU in this specific way, I'm really loving how integral this story feels to the MCU. I talked last week about the interconnection that the MCU in phase 4 has desperately been needing. It comes down to a couple key projects like She-Hulk to really maybe tie phase 4 up with a really pretty bow as we head into phase 5 and kind of look at the future of the MCU. And with this episode, we got a reference to New Asgard. We got to see Wong, which I want to go back into Wong, Sorcerer Supreme, just Wong in a little bit. But we have Abomination, who is from the earliest iteration of the MCU. Like, Incredible Hulk came out in 2008 prior to Iron Man, and we are having those characters return. Getting to revisit characters like Abomination really make it feel like this beautiful through line, even if we haven't seen this character all but one other time in the MCU. And then it's pulling in important factoids, characters, and references from past MCU movies that are really kind of making the universe whole again. Wong specifically I want to focus on because, as Jennifer Walters says, I know we're all waiting for the cameo of Wong. Like, we all want to see him. I know you're excited, but like, hold on a second. Don't forget this is my show. Wong has been such a mainstay of the later phases of the MCU ever since his first appearance in Doctor Strange, and this is a formula piece that the MCU has sorely been lacking since the Avengers, and that is a character who is kind of a side piece who shows up exactly when you need him. In phase 1, this was Agent Coulson, okay? Agent Coulson was such a beautiful character that really kind of keyed people into the fact that these movies are connected, that they are leading towards something. We needed a new savior, and that is Wong. Of course, there's been plenty of memes all over the internet about the Wong cinematic universe, but this is something that until today, I don't know why it clicked for me today in this episode. He is the Coulson of phase 4 and the future of the MCU. He is a important character because he's currently the Sorcerer Supreme. He is Doctor Strange's best friend and sidekick, if you will. Let's just give it up for Benedict Wong, everyone, and the future and crucial role that he and his character play in the formatting of the MCU. that's just such an essential piece of glue that I'm so excited I realized is like what they're doing, and I just think Wong is the perfect character to do so. So there's my little spiel for the episode. At the same time though, that this series is making me feel like, oh, this is the MCU I love. This is the universe that I am so deeply invested in. It is giving me stuff that is so unapologetically unique that I can't help but fall in love with it. This episode, Megan Thee Stallion was in it. Can we talk about that for a second? If you ever asked me who I thought was going to cameo in like future projects of the MCU, there were probably countless celebrities and or actors that I would have said like, oh, I want them to be cast in a role to be a cameo in like even like a little part. But like Megan Thee Stallion, it's just so, I can't even describe why it fits so well in this series. It's just a perfect, weird, unique addition to this series that would only fit in this series. And that's what I love about these MCU series, even though some you're gonna like more and some you're gonna like less because they might not uniquely fit your perspective or interests. When they are true to themselves, I think the people that they're most meant to relate to are gonna find them and appreciate them for what they are. So I think that's just kind of what that cameo symbolized for me. And it wasn't overdone, it was just kind of sprinkled in there, and you're like, wow, this was amazing. And apparently it was like a little gift from like the producers of the show to Tatiana Maslany. It's kind of like a little surprise, which again, just love that it worked out that way. And then the lawyer element is just really working for me too. Like the AB storyline that, of course, the fourth wall, which you all know I love, the fourth wall breaks that Jennifer does, the reference to like the AB storyline with her and Pug and kind of their two separate lawyer cases that are both like connected to the MCU but are following this Law and Order-esque law procedural drama format, but it's also comedy. Like I just think the creatives behind this project, and I say this in a lot of TV shows, so I'm sorry that I sound like a broken record. I love television and movies, and I specifically love MCU television and movies. And the only way to wrap this up is by saying that I love it and I feel so at peace and tied and grounded in the present moment in the MCU because of this show largely. And I just want to say thank you, because I know a lot of you commented during my Miss Marvel reviews that I was so focused on where the series was going, and I think for a long time that's how I was looking at the MCU most of this year actually. But this series is just so enjoyable for me to watch every week. All I have to say about that. If you enjoyed this review, please consider liking it and hitting the subscribe button as I referenced earlier, because I do these reviews weekly, and next week is Disney Plus Day, which is crazy because it's not its actual birthday, but there's going to be content, so you're going to want to be here. So hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you get those alerts, you never miss anything, okay? You don't want to miss stuff, okay? Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have an absolutely amazing day or night whenever you're getting to watch this, and I will see you in my very next video. Bye, y'all.